So when we look at Share My Lesson, I'd like to share with you today the ways that you can access this on the web, how it is available to you, and the way that it's broken down so that it's very user-friendly. You can access it very easily, and then you can upload things very easily as well. So it's two parts, really: what you want to take from the cloud, what you want to share with your students from your colleagues, and then also what you want to share back and give back to this database of lessons. So here you see Share My Lesson, and it's really important to look at the ways that Share My Lesson comes together in a wonderful way. You see the way that it's built up at the top where it says log in and join us. So if you're not a member yet, you can join by clicking that red button and looking at what is there. There's also some featured content where you can look and see what's new for that month on the calendar and what is available. Then the next gray bar says Teaching Resources, and it gives you a chance to look at how many different resources have already been uploaded for people to use. The next one is called Common Core, and it may not apply to you where you teach, but in the United States, we have developed Common Core state standards, and not all the states are required to adopt it. It's voluntary, but there's a whole section on what best practices are for students at different age levels, especially in reading and math. So those are put together so that the teachers in the U.S. can really access them much more quickly than looking for them and searching for them. So again, you see the different screen of About Us, AFT and TES, Create My Lessons, and those are there for you to look at. In a little bit, I'm going to take you to the live site so that you can look and see what is actually on there right now. One of the pieces that doesn't change is the very bottom of the website. If I were to scroll down to the bottom of the website, you would see these 4 different pictures or icons that take you to certain places on the website, where this previous one with all the top part of the site, this piece here is the bottom part of the website. So you can take a tour before you even start to learn more about it. So those teachers that are listening, are going to listen to this webinar offline, you want to go straight to the website and get a tour, this is where you would go to that first one, take a tour, and it'll help you orient yourself to what the website has and what it can offer. The second part is a whole section on how to find a resource. So this is another tool. They're little tutorials that help you understand, how do I find something, for example, in physics, or if I want to find something for English language learners, then how would I do that? So that's another little tutorial. The other part that you see there is called How to Share. So once you use the website and you understand it, and you have an actual lesson that you would like to share. For example, when I was teaching in the classroom in preschool, I did this one lesson where I read to the children Who Sank the Boat. And when I read that book by Pamela Allen, I would put pennies in, and we were doing a thinking and floating lesson at the same time. After I read the book and I showed them the concept, all these little 4-year-olds started clapping for me spontaneously, and it was one of the best lessons I ever did, because the children really understood how it wasn't just it's all these little animals on the boat, how it wasn't just the mouse that sank the boat, but it was all the animals together with their weight that sank the boat. And so when we finished that and the kids, we are able to discuss it, I thought, you know what, if I had Share My Lesson back then, I would have written that up and posted it, because it was really a visual connection to literacy for second language learners that made a big difference in the way they understood that science concept built into the literacy. So when you have something very successful and very important for you to share, this icon on how to share is something for you to look at. The last one there is this Become a Partner. How can an organization be part of Share My Lesson? It doesn't have to be an individual teacher, but it could be a school, or it could be an organization where you live, that wants to create a bunch of lessons built for your community and you want to share those, we would welcome that opportunity for you to do that. And that little tutorial helps you to understand how to become a partner. So those are the 4 different pieces that are there. I know there's a lot to cover in this webinar, but at the end, we will have a question and answer session so you can ask some of those questions or maybe post them in that chat box. The next slide basically tells you about a teacher that says, I need a great teaching resource for my 2nd grade students who are learning to read. So if you just have a general question, you can type in on the search feature what you want to learn or what you want to find out about, and then you can see what resources are available. So if she has that question that says, what can I do for these children? She can go to that second box that says teaching resources. And in that box, it tells you, again, how many resources are available, who are some of the featured contributors of that site, of that section there, and what are some really good downloaded pieces of information or lessons that are popular that we know probably work very well because those teachers are using it constantly. So you want to find not just featured content, but things that are particular to what you want to learn about or what you want to use in your classroom in that section. And so when you click on that, I'm going to go back to that. When you click on Teaching Resources and click that gray tab that says Teaching Resources, it will take you to a page that looks like this one. And this section here details the different things about the teaching resources that are available, and it keeps a constant number, running number of how many resources have been uploaded for the children today, or up to this point. It also breaks it down into different levels. So if you see on the blue box, it has early elementary, kindergarten to 2nd grade, late elementary, which are grades 3 to 5, and then you have middle school, grades 6 to 8, high school, 9 to 12, and any type of special populations, children with special needs, or again, English language learners. I know most of you that are on this webinar are working with English language learners, so we do have a section on that and some lessons that already have been uploaded for you to look at and to develop. You can also see at the bottom, it's got some highlights of some lessons, some latest resources that were published and uploaded, and a resource calendar that helps you plan what events are happening that you can correlate them to. And then it says upload your lesson plan. So that little cloud that's there for share my lesson, a little thought bubble, then you click on that cloud and you can upload your own lesson to share with your colleagues. When you look at that, there's also a bottom section, so it gives you a little bit more. We gave you the top part of it. Let me give you a second to see that. That's the top part, and this is the bottom part of that. So you can see a lot more information. It's going to take you a little bit of time just to sit down and work with it and take a little bit of time to read what those tabs are. And again, with any new resource, it just takes you a little while of time and investment to look at those tabs and plan on them and see what they are. The other part that we're going to, again, touch on, we've gone to teaching resources and we looked at that. Let's look at an example of what an early elementary lesson would look like. So when you click on that top part, again, it takes you a little bit deeper into the site, and it gives you early elementary. And here, since most of you are teaching students that are learning English in English classrooms, there's a whole section on English language arts. So you can click on that and find the lessons that are there that will help you develop that. So there's some highly rated resources and then some of the latest resources that are available there too. Once you click on, for example, English language arts, then it breaks it down the grade K to 2, whether it's a whole span, or it breaks it down into the individual grade levels. So there you see kindergarten, grade 1, and grade 2. So if you're looking at a particular grade level, it gives you a little bit more detail for that specific grade level. Excuse me. Once you click, for example, on grade 2, then that further gives you more opportunity to look into more detail on what you're looking for. So then you look at the different sections that are there, and you click on, for example, language, speaking, and listening. You're looking for the skills that are there. So those are important for you to drill down and look and see what is particular to what you're looking for. So when you're clicking on those, I'm going to go back a little bit more. So when you've clicked, for example, on reading skills there, it will take you to those reading foundational skills that teachers have uploaded their lessons to. So there's a bunch of lessons, the newest lessons, the recently begun lessons, the recommended lessons. So you can put those in there, or they can put them in and you can look at them. You can upload to this section as well. So it's really, again, those two parts that I talked about, the lessons that you're looking at that will help you in your classroom. But what a wonderful gift to be able to also share it back and give that gift of learning back to other teachers who are maybe looking at ways that your best practices can help them in their classroom as well. Again, there are different lessons that you can look at. You can look at that little red arrow, and there's a particular lesson that's probably hard to see, it's so tiny, but you can click on that lesson, and it'll open up a dialog where you can download. Maybe it could be a PowerPoint, or it could be a small video, or it could be a lesson plan, or an actual worksheet that you could then print out. So there's a lot of ways to share resources on that Share My Lesson that's there for you to look at. So again, going to that second grade reading foundational skills, this lesson that we highlighted is about vowel thief, and it talks about the vowels. So you can take this lesson, read it through. People also rate them. I know it's kind of hard to see at the very bottom, but there's some little stars there. And what we do is we look at the ratings, say, you know what, a lot of the teachers love this one. This one has 5 stars. So I'm going to look at that one first because I know that a lot of teachers have said they use that, and this gives it a lot of recommendations when you have those 5 stars. So maybe you could look at those first and see if those will work. But you never know how when you take a lesson, right, it might have been an okay lesson for somebody, but you can turn it around, customize it for your students, and make it just dynamic. So you can always take a resource that you think, you know, might not be so bad, then make it even better. So those are opportunities to customize it the way that you think it's going to fit your children best. Here's another one here. It says, use this resource to help your students learn exactly the vowels in a word. So there's a whole section there where you can download a resource. You can, again, click on it, and it may have a worksheet. So let me show you about what this worksheet looks like. So when you open it, excuse me, when you click on that resource there and for that lesson, this teacher who uploaded this lesson for us created a worksheet that says, oh no, late last night the vowel thief came and stole every vowel from my story. So then the child, you would ask the child, what do you think we need to do with this? So then this is where we would try to figure out what those words are based on all those vowels that are missing. And they can see then how important those letters are to completing the words, and they can use some of that context and contextual information to be able to build this up. And this is a great reading foundational skill, and it's a great lesson for you to use it. So I know you would love to use that, and you can print them. So everything on the site is free of charge. There's never a charge for anything that's on there. Nobody charges you for any of the resources. So you can download them and use them as you need to and as you wish. So when you go to vowel thief, you can also say, you know what, I thought that was fabulous. I used it, this is what I adapted, this is the way that I was able to use it. And you can go through and rate it yourself, and you can share other things that you've done with that. So it becomes a community of learners, of teachers working together to build a community of folks that can come together and talk about lessons and share them. So it's a great opportunity. What a wonderful way for us to learn together. Even though we don't know one another, we're connected through Share My Lesson. So here's that community at the top where it says teaching resources, and it also says community. So when you go up there and you look at that, you can do some selection of favorites that you like. You can also reach out to the community and talk about what's in this lesson and ways to share them. So those are important things for you to look at in consideration of ways to connect to other teachers. Here is a section where you can follow particular teachers that have wonderful things to say or can mentor you or help you because they've gone through it. So a beginning teacher could partner with any of these teachers that they could be following. So we have a wonderful intergenerational tool that we can use. So a lot of those beginning teachers that need mentoring and are novices at some of those and have questions could do that, but also experienced teachers. Like I know that when I had student teachers, I learned so much from the new students coming in and working with me in my classroom. So those novice teachers, those new ones learning from a veteran teacher, have a lot to share. So also those experienced veteran teachers can learn a lot from new teachers, and this community encourages that. The Share My Lesson is important for everyone because it's Share My Lesson in community that we talked about there before. And when you click on the community button, that takes you back to the one at the very bottom, at the very beginning when I showed you that there's a way to connect. So how do you do your work? How do you connect? Post in the last 24 hours. And then also people online that are chatting about what's going on there. So you can search for some forums that help you understand what is going on with a certain lesson or a particular skill that you're looking at. And there's also a section on Common Core at the bottom of that one. Here's another one on furthering the use of the community, which I just talked about a little bit, but you can also rate those forums, the ones that provide a lot of information that you can use. So once you search the forum and you find one that you really can connect to, then you can be part of that and also rate it. And then, for example, here's one, how to speed up your marking or grading. How do we do these? What are some techniques? So here's some excellent resources to be able to look at that. In a minute, we'll go to the live site and look at that. Here's another section that talks about the hot list of the ones that they're looking at. And that concludes the section of the PowerPoint that I wanted to show you because I would like to go to the live website. So Monica is going to upload or show you a video that talks about Share My Lesson because I've given you introduction with a PowerPoint. And next we're going to talk about what an important mission this is for the American Federation of Teachers. And this video is going to showcase teachers saying what they feel about it and how it connects to them. So definitely want to show that American Federation of Teachers video. Then we're going to transition into the live website.
As a teacher, the pressure is on and everything is about student performance, and we probably need about 36 hours in a 24-hour day.
We're down to probably about an hour a week of true planning. So in that hour, you've got to be able to grade papers, do your lesson plans, get things together for the next day.
I know as a new teacher, I remember sitting on the floor in the teacher store with like everything around me trying to figure out what's going to meet the next week's skill set.
And we don't want teachers just grabbing stuff offline and saying, well, I found this, and I'm just going to kind of throw this at kids and see what happens.
Our pay is tied to the achievement of our kids. So that pressure comes through my paycheck and ability to feed my family. Yeah, everybody's feeling it, from the school board all the way down to the classroom and the children, and that's the saddest part, that the children feel it most of all.
Educators work so hard. They try to make a difference every day in the lives of kids. They're up early in the morning, they're up late at night, and deep cuts to education have made the situation even worse. What we are trying to do is help get them the support that they need. We've developed Share My Lesson to help solve these challenges. One of the best ways to help students achieve at high levels is by ensuring that their teachers have the tools and resources to help them succeed. We want to make sure this tough job is more manageable. And that's what Share My Lesson is all about. It's built by frontline professionals. It's by teachers for teachers.
I think the AFT has always really tried to elevate teaching as a profession. Share My Lesson serves to be that platform for all of us then to have that one place to communicate now.
We are the experts in the field because we are in the trenches all the time and we know what works, what doesn't work. So when we are actually helping one another through Share My Lesson, I think we have the best resources.
You know, there's just so many teachers that buy things that sometimes are made from catalog companies. You know, it's not the same as something that a teacher puts their blood, sweat, and tears into to help their class.
We have this online network where some of our best teachers are sharing the greatest resources they have with each other. And we're informing new teachers some of our best practices and our greatest strategies that impact our kids as learners.
The nice thing about the site is that there's a peer review, so as these things are in place, people are reviewing them, so we're going to start to see those stronger resources pull to the top.
And I think that teachers will, be drawn to it because it is teacher reviewed and is backed by AFT.
More than ever, we need to act in innovative, creative, and new ways. That's solution-driven unionism.
The idea behind Share My Lesson is to bring together the technology and the experience of TSL in running those huge teacher-sharing websites and the drive, determination and real understanding of education in the US that the AFT brings us.
I'm just pretty excited that our union is really focused on helping teachers. When other teachers are putting their projects online, I think the most important part is going to be the inspiration and the new life it can give a project that a teacher already teaches.
Most kids, by the end of the year, they know their teacher's teaching styles, but using Share My Lesson, it might introduce a new teaching concept or a teaching style where the kids will be a little bit more energized.
And one of the first things that I opened, and it was something just so simple. It was a hundreds chart, but just right underneath it, this teacher had it in word form too. And I was like, wow, something as simple as that, and it's just so powerful.
We're in a new world in American education. This fall, millions of teachers will be challenged to start teaching to the Common Core state standards. Whether you support or don't support the standards, we have to make sure our teachers have the tools to meet them.
What does it look like? What are they talking about when they say the mathematical practices? We need to have somewhere that we can create that dialogue together and try and understand this new process.
If Share My Lesson is available to all the teachers in the nation and they're all aligned to the Common Core, I think that's going to help us to make sure our kids don't fall behind.
Does it hit the mark? What else do we need to do to make it real? Because we are dead serious about this notion of solution-driven unionism.
So having this is something that, we're a union, yes, and we're strong, yes, but we care, and that's even stronger.
That part of being in the union is really special to me. All about how do we help teachers become better teachers. That's really what we ultimately want, is to be the best we can be as professionals. So I thought this was kind of a nice extension of that.
Teachers are excited because we don't have anything like this. I know as I'm reviewing, the activities really are activities that we can use.
I am a quality resource, and I am so excited about sharing what I've already developed.
It's empowering and it's inspirational to see what people are doing across the country.
As I check them out, I'm like, I could slip that in my lesson. That's pretty cool.
What we're going to do is find out whether or not the shape of the fins is going to make it stay with better hang time.
It jazzes up the lesson a little more, gives us a little more meat, a little more excitement. It brings novelty. And they have a lot of things for the kids hands-on to do, and that's going to pump it up here. It's going to take it higher. I just feel like my arsenal has been stocked.
Teachers want to share. Bottom line, they want to share. Why reinvent the wheel if you don't have to? And it's not even an ego thing. It's just like, here it is. Because we're very nurturing. They're not just our kids right here in the room. It's all the children in the world that we want to help make a difference.
Share My Lesson is for you. It's an opportunity for you to share your expertise with your colleagues or to just get new ideas. Share My Lesson is peers helping peers, not materials from on high. This network truly is by teachers, for teachers, and for free.
Share My Lesson by teachers, for teachers.
Share my lesson.
By teachers, for teachers.
Log on now to Share My Lesson and start sharing.
So when we go on the live website, you can see it looks a little bit different from the one I showed you on the PowerPoint because it's constantly updated. And there are some screens that go in and out to help you choose different things that you're looking at. And the great part of it is the constant things don't change. For example, the top, you can see that I'm logged in right here. Here's how you would log in. You can inbox some people that you know that you're connected to. Here's your search button at the top. And you can see that the Teaching Resources button is here, so is the community. So I'm going to scroll down just very slowly so you can see that in Share My Lesson, you have that featured content. You have the Teaching Resources. And you can see that number has gone up and it's changed a bunch. And again, Common Core that's there. So here's, for example, when we talked about people that could share, this one is from the Boston Teachers Union. So you can share and become a partner by having a group come together and develop lessons and share them. But it doesn't have to be just individuals. So when I talked about this button on the right that says Become a partner of Share My Resources is, Share My Lesson is Boston Teachers Union. So here you can see where they have posted some here. There's some new downloads here. Look at that, 4,025. A Boston Teachers Union initiative. This is wonderful. So here you have the Center for Civic Education as well that has posted some lessons. So those are your partners rather than just individuals doing that. Here again are your 4 tutorials or little sections that help you a little bit more. And you can find those at the very bottom. And again, here if I clicked on featured content or teaching resource, I can click on these and find what they are. Featured content is not a hot link, but the things below it are. For teaching resources, do you remember when we clicked on that and we found that it was there were different sections on there, and we had clicked on early elementary? Let's click on a high school one just to look at that. We clicked on that so you can see the different subject areas for high school. And on the left it tells you how many are there. Resources including activities, worksheets, games, lesson plans, puzzles, posters, presentations, assessments, and other ideas for you to use with your high school students. So whatever you're looking for, you can section out any of these. These are links, except these are the headers here. So you can click on these links and find those by grade levels or by subject areas and click on those. On this section, again, just to reinforce what was there on elementary, there's some highly rated resources here. People seem to absolutely think these are amazing. So here's some also latest resources that are here that you can look at. You can see California Academy of Sciences must be a partner because they have posted quite a few there. So you have those sections there for the high school. So you can click the back button or you can click any of those other sections that are there. Scrolling down, again, here are some wonderful latest resources for these different sections. But I know that you're very interested in special populations, the English language learners. So you can look at this section there where it says special populations. And for you that are tuning into the webinar, here's the section on English language learners, ELLs. So when you click on that one for the teachers learning English, we have 270, not as many as the others. So that means we're going to need your help in developing some lessons that you're doing, creating them, and posting them so we would have those. So here's some things that are already highly rated. Picture cards of common objects, Latin roots and prefixes. Here's an assessment on evaluation tree. Here's a classroom strategies for language difficulties, and an author's purpose sheet. So there's quite a few here that are highly rated. And if you click on these individually, then it'll give you a chance to look at what those lessons are about. And here you can see that it's got a Word document that is attached to it that you can look at here. So those sections are very, very important when you are looking at those. So this could be one of your favorites. You can look at saved searches, which groups are you following, your resources, and perhaps you want to add a new one. So here's your chance to contribute or add a review to this one here. This person said for this lesson on picture cards of common items and objects, these are great visuals to use in a variety of ways. Thank you. So you can also communicate with the author using this section. So Share My Lesson is very teacher-friendly, as you can see. Under English Language Learners, there's the section on assessment, classroom materials, instructional strategies, and then reaching out to families, which is very important. So if you can't find that topic you're looking for, you can always search on the sections. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to look at one more thing. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm just going to go back to Share My Lesson link, and I'm going to show you this community section because that one was teaching resources. But there's also a section for community of learners. So here's that help and information. Anybody needs some help on particular things, they can post them. There's our question section and a general forum. So here's an opportunity to look at that, and here's the search feature right here. So those sections are very, very important. We know that the things that we do in our classrooms are going to change children's lives. So we urge you to continue to share that gift of dynamic teaching with others across the country and across the world. So definitely share those with your students.